and I'm like, they can't see him. So
Yeah, we don't see him. Well, we are live. Hello, hello, hello. We are live. How is everybody today? Anyway, I'm gonna do my usual as Kitty does her usual, which that means Kitty's gonna just introduce herself as I just check in to make sure we are streaming where we need to be streaming. So, Kitty, take over for a little while, please.
sure, I'm Kitty Foss, co-owner of Intuition of the Soul, and the other platform is Optimize Your Energy with the Moon and Stars. I am a storytelling astrologist, and Joanne and I like to jump on and when we have these big astrological events and talk about them. And this is a doozy. This is really a doozy, this particular one. So, because today, of course, we have um, a new moon. We've had a solar eclipse, and solar eclipses and lunar eclipses have a lot of additional energy that can last up to 6 months. And we have a whole bunch of planets kind of between the degrees, and some are in their what's called their fall Venus star points, and some are exalted. We're also going into a new phase for Venus. We've been moving towards it since 2020. So, and Venus has a 100-year cycle, actually, its star points. So we're actually shifting finally from the Scorpio one into Libra. But and we've got a square with Mars. We've got, of course, Saturn and Uranus finishing up. We've got Jupiter this week in retrograde, going back to visit its 12-year cycle. Just a busy, busy, busy time.
Yes, and as Kitty's saying all that, I'm trying to get into my YouTube channel, and obviously YouTube is having an upgrade right now, so I can't get there right now. So I have no idea if we're streaming there, which I'm sure we will be, and I'll check that out later. But we are streaming on Twitter, so for all our Twitter folks, put a little heart there. Let us know that you are there. And then we're gonna go over to Facebook, and we're streaming on Facebook. So yes,
Well,
all
that's good because I'm having trouble with my StreamYard and Facebook. And normally it's just a matter of reauthorizing, but today it's saying it's a Facebook issue. And I did notice that my Facebook took on a new format this morning.
Oh,
So,
so it's so interesting because on Facebook right now, I have in you know how like when you send a share out and you want to share out the
mm-hmm.
bunch of names on my list right now. I haven't seen these names in over I don't know probably the last 2 years. Like where's all of this coming from? So my usual folks that I usually end up inviting, I'm gonna have to like type in their names to find them. That's I tell you why. Why? I just say why.
Well, part of this solar eclipse is dealing with lifelong disappointments that we're transforming, that we are. This is not an easy Scorpio season. This is a big transformative Scorpio. It's been one of the more tough ones, I would say it will be than it has been. And we're dealing with one astrologer I follow. She, was like, this is really about those um, big disappointments and what we want. So, we've been talking, Joe Monkman and all of us have been talking about this undercurrent, and that's what's coming up is these lifelong disappointments in what we thought we'd be, what we thought we'd be, but they're only here to show us um, we need to create the life we want, and it's
Yeah,
in the house. It's in the house of values. What is in our way that we are valuing, and so, but it's not a um, yippee skippy kind of feeling. No,
really. And what Scorpio season just started, just like what 2 days
2 days
ago.
ago. Mm-hmm.
Out of a while for this and all this amazing, amazing, funky energy we are going to be going. I guess the title that we chose for today, or should I say that Kitty chose for today, a Scorpio deep dive, is
Mm-hmm.
very appropriate for this energy that we have going. So again, just to recap, because I wasn't really paying attention because I was fussing with the YouTube channel, which still don't know if it's on or not, but that's okay. So just for my own sake, so obviously Sun in Scorpio, Venus in Scorpio, Don't tell me. Don't tell me. Do not tell me. The moon is currently in Scorpio, new moon right
Mhm.
now that we are in. We also have an eclipse going on right now. It's so funny. Earlier this afternoon, which I know it's not possible, but I almost swore I saw the moon in the sky today, in outside, and I'm like, how's that possible? During new moons, we don't have a moon in the sky. But I don't know.
No,
Maybe it's me.
maybe it was the somewhat of the eclipse. It was a if I think the best viewing of it was in Russia. It was three quarters,
Hmm.
a three-quarter eclipse.
Oh,
Um, and solar eclipse are about kind of cutting the light to take a look at what is it that is the very core of us, because it's about the sun that needs attention.
yes. And what needs attention? Whoo hoo. We have lots of things that need attention. Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
Now,
as I'm saying this, I have my dog who thinks he's a meerkat walking on 2 feet looking at the screen trying to see what I'm doing.
oh,
So,
okay. Does,
speaking of needing attention,
I was gonna say, does your dog want to come on screen and give us a lesson or two?
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, yes. So earlier, when you and I were chatting on my live earlier, you mentioned something about something being in 12 degrees, and I couldn't for the life of me remember what you said. And of course, I should have had my notes, but I didn't. Something about Venus, I think it was.
Well, I was talking about my particular Venus because, excuse my dog.
Oh, so
Um,
your particular Venus is in the 12th house.
yes, but in general, we're talking about all these things at 2 degrees, and we're dealing with the 12th house with
Yes,
Venus. And mine does particularly, well, actually, we're dealing second house because of the Taurus piece that has to do with the opposite with Scorpio. And Venus herself is in a fall position. In other words, she's opposite of where she's exalted and where she's comfortable in Taurus, and because she's in Scorpio right now. And
yes.
so all of that is about that 12th house discovering energy. All of that is this new Piscean star point it's starting to move towards. And so it's all about the discovery, all about what's coming forth. That's what that disappointment piece, some of those things are coming forth. And I call it disappointment, but it's more like, wait a minute, this isn't what I thought it was going to be. Everything from my life, my relationship, and depending where your particular Venus is, where that conversation is taking place. Mine
My
have,
Venus.
where is your Venus?
My Venus is in Pisces. I know that for sure. And the house that's associated. See how I now have my chart, like literally it's in a box right here next to me. How convenient is that? My Pisces is in my ninth house. Venus, Pisces, ninth house.
So that's your conversation's discovery, because of this second degree where Venus is in general, is about the higher learning, is about the truth in your higher learning, where you might have thought a way to get to where you wanted to be, but now you're learning new, different ways to deal with that disappointment. Mine happens, like I said, happens to be in the 12th house in Sagittarius. So mine's about uncovering truth still more for
Mm-hmm.
myself. And our moon energy is kind of our mother energy. It's our child. It's all the things we're trying to learn. So when we have all of this energy working with this Scorpio moon for our intentions that we're supposed to be setting to manifest, it
Yes.
really is. You talked about it today, making list of the things maybe that disappoint, maybe that I'm willing to want to be differently, and then looking at how do I receive a different way to be with those. So,
If you had to guess in regards to my moon energy, which is in Aquarius, what house would you guess it's in?
well, if Pisces is on your ninth, it's the eighth house, so it's in that transformation
It's actually seventh.
energy. Yeah, seventh and
It's
eighth.
yeah, seventh house energy. Yes.
So it's relationship. It's Venus's home anyway, in
Yes.
Libra, and that's her new star point. So it really is about your whole new relationship with everything, with learning, with self, with the transformation, because you still have it sitting there on that house of Scorpio too, a little
Yes.
bit of it.
Yes.
So
Yes. Quite interesting. Yes, yes, it is quite interesting energy we have going on, and like usual, when Kitty and I come together, it's really play, but we wanna be transparent about our play, so we share it out to all of
Come
you,
on.
and of course, when all of you pop in, if you should pop in, we
Okay,
can.
he came.
Oh, look who's here! Do you have some wisdom for us, little one? Do you
No,
have
he's
some
just
wisdom?
curious what's going on, so I'm just
You
gonna
have
let him talk.
wisdom. I believe you have some wisdom for me today. It's so interesting. I was working with one of my clients earlier today, and she has cats. Well, she has a bunch of other animals, farm animals as well. But her cat today decided while she was doing her Reiki work with me that she wanted to be a part of the Reiki session. And she literally took a paw. And when I told my client to place her hand on her heart center, the cat's paw was in the client's hand, so she had to place it there as well. So there was her hand and the cat's hand on the heart chakra. Like, isn't that the sweetest thing?
Oh, that's very sweet. But my animals, for some reason, decided they want attention. I think what they want is water. They keep looking at this water bottle.
Oh, yes,
It's
yes.
over by the door.
So yes. So what do they? I was gonna say they don't drink out of the bottle, do they? You're pouring into it something, or are you giving it to your husband?
Yeah, and my husband's giving them some water because he was standing on 2 feet. He is a Dachshund Whippet mix, and
Oh,
so he's very tall, but he can walk around like he's a meerkat, and
nice.
so it on 2 feet. So, yeah, animals today in general. I saw quite a few around, and you know, that's my husband. You guys see in the background. We're at a hotel in Georgia,
Yes.
so
He did not want to be on camera.
yeah. How's that
Mhm.
working for him?
Yeah, yes. But what we always have to remind ourselves, what we don't want to do usually ends up happening because the
Hmm.
universe never hears the word don't. The not portion of it.
Right.
So we have to be mindful of that. So going back to our astrology, in regards to all the energy and then even the upcoming energy, because as we move towards the end of the weekend, we have a lot of stuff going on.
We have Mercury going also into Scorpio, and we have Jupiter, which is retrograde, going back to Pisces, asking us to take a look at those dreams. And also the dreams that it was Pisces was the end of its 12-year cycle, and it changed over in April. And so there are lessons of that, the dreams of that 12 years that we're going back to touch back into, and then we'll move forward again, and we won't be revisiting those because we're in a new 12-year cycle. Right now
Exactly.
we're going back over those first degrees of Aries it was in, and then we're going to come back over it again. So we're visiting that area 3 times. We also have, besides Mercury going into Scorpio, we have Mars going retrograde.
Yes, we sure do.
So within a week, all of this stuff has happened, from Saturn going direct in the vision because it's in Aquarius, the structures. Of course, Saturn is right now in a square with Uranus, really trying to. Uranus is changing what our structures have been. That was the kind of lesson of 2020. We came right into that square, and it's by the end of this year, it will finally be out of that position. But that's been a big energy across the last 2 years. Saturn, and they're both rulers of Aquarius, which is our vision, the age we're going into. And they're one wants the structure, one wants it to be predictable, and one is about chaos and taking it apart. And those are the two energies around whatever this vision is. So it's we have that playing in the background. We have this Mars and Gemini that's going to be here for 7 months. That's a really
Yeah.
long time for Mars to be in anything, let,
Hmm.
let alone in Gemini.
Now, the
So,
period of time that Mars is actually in retrograde is for what to what again?
you're going to make me look it up. It's the
You don't have
30th. No, I'm going to look it up, though. It's the 30th, and then it's in November. I think it turns around and comes back.
Yeah, because
But
I have it in my notes somewhere. Yeah, because I know it's not in retrograde the whole 7 months. Thank
So,
goodness for that.
so it must be, it goes into January, it's retrograde. So, and
Yeah,
I don't have my other calendar here, so it switches back in January, which is
yeah,
why it's in this 7 month period, because then it goes forward again in Gemini, because it
exactly.
started its journey and it got almost all the way through Gemini, and now it's turning around and going back over, which is why, you know, Mars is usually in a sign 5 to 7 weeks, not 7 months. So,
Well, there must be something there that we have to really review about when we think about it. You know, in
mm-hmm.
reference to Gemini being all about the the intellect, the communication, the networking, the brainstorming, how we work with our computers for that matter as well. So makes a lot of sense, especially now, even though it's not in retrograde yet, but it still is in. Um,
It's slowed down. We're feeling the effects of it. It's as I'm for anyone who's just new to astrology, it doesn't just switch
yeah,
that day.
just
There
slowly
is
going.
a point where it's considered gone into a measurement, but we feel, they call it the shadow of it. And of course,
Yeah,
Mars is all about beginnings. It's the cardinals, it's start, it's the warrior energy. And in Gemini, we're talking its relationship to Mercury, and it's air and fire. It's sparking. And Gemini is the only one of the air signs that's our personal energy. So it's about the personal communication and personal technology. So I think that we'll see early in 2023 some new personal technologies coming forward. There's a reason it's sitting there, and
yes.
it's a learning piece for us. So,
You know, and it's also a reason why there's so much crazy going on with all the different platforms. You know, reference to Facebook having major upgrades, and all the other platforms are having major upgrades as well.
right. And yeah, it's gonna be an interesting in the states election period of time because of the communication. Um, just in general, it's this particular week too is like wow.
Well, yeah, because we all get all this energy coming in. You know,
Mm-hmm.
within literally, what is it, a total of like 10 days we have all this energy? You
Yeah,
know,
it's really seven.
is it
It's
really so?
Yeah, because the 23rd was Saturday, and Mars goes retrograde on the 30th.
Oh, yeah, yeah. So, yeah, 7 days. That's a
So,
lot of
and
energy to take in such a short period of time. And then we sit here and we wonder, well, why is it so many people are in the space of like, why can't I sleep? Or why is it I'm only sleeping for a few hours and I'm being woken? You know, because again, as our technology is going through all these changes, we're going through all these changes too. And interesting, I had read the other day, I forget where the hell I read it, but it said, and I forget who said it, that as we become in our higher vibration, as we keep evolving, we need less sleep.
Dave, you're on when you do that.
Good work, Ed. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so when we think about it, we need less sleep as we're evolving. We need less sleep. We need less food as well, which I found really interesting because as we evolve, as our energy becomes lighter and lighter and lighter, we don't need to sleep as much. Because I know for me, when I'm usually, if I don't get at least 6 hours of sleep, I'm not a very happy person.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been with, there's been days where I'm getting just about 4.5 hours of sleep. You know, I might try to go to bed early, but then in the middle of the night I'm waking up and I might be up for, let's say, half hour to an hour, sometimes even an hour and a half. So it's like I've lost that sleep, and then I still have to get up my normal time for what I have to do. So it's like, okay, so but when I'm waking up, I might wake up feeling a little tired in the moment, but then as I get moving, I I don't feel tired anymore,
Mm-hmm.
which is quite interesting. So for those people out there who are experiencing not sleeping well, getting up in the middle of the night, 2, 3 in the morning, and what I recommend is that when you do wake up, and I do this consciously, where when I do wake up at night, and it doesn't always happen because sometimes I do forget, I will purposely look at the clock to see what time it is that I'm waking up, just to see out of curiosity if it has, if it's related to angel numbers, such as if it's 1111, if it's 111, 222, 333, 444, 555. If it's those numbers, those are angel numbers, which means there's a message there. But I also believe any number is a message, because whatever time you wake up, you could be waking up at 2:34, you know. And what that number means is that everything's in perfect order, because it's 2, 3, 4. You know,
Well,
so
it was interesting. Yesterday, we encountered fives. It was 555 miles. It was 77 was the route we got off, which adds up to a 5. I woke up 5 different times, and every time I was adding the clock, it added to 5. So, there's a lot of different synchronicities out there that we're
yes,
paying attention to. But
exactly.
this is just this is a time to receive, um,
Yeah,
because there's just so much happening, and you can kind of see it. And driving today, there were some wild people doing some wild things, especially truckers. But cutting people off, flying all over, and it was like, wow, you know, just that kind of energy was out there today. So,
yeah. Well, yeah, because I think, again, when we do have a lot of this energy, at least from my experience, is that people become, the word I'm hearing is like short fused, because
mhm.
there's just so much energy going on for them that they don't know how to take it in. So they end up getting short fused very quickly. So I mean, I know for me, if there's something that shows up unexpectedly, yeah, if the normal reaction would be to get annoyed by it or frustrated, but recognizing that when we do have this energy, it might be a good idea to just take a pause and a breath,
Mhm.
and realize that these things are happening for a reason. As I was gonna share with you, after we got off live today, I figured I'll share it now, because you never know who else may need to hear this, and who else might be experiencing it as well. I finally decided this afternoon that I was gonna run out, do an errand, and then I was gonna get back here. And I go and do my one errand, and get back in my car, and I go drive to another location for another errand. And I get there, I get back into my car, and I go to turn my car on to come home, and I'm like, my car doesn't stop. The entire dashboard lights up. And I'm like, oh, I'm like, what's this about? So I try it again, doesn't turn on. So I'm like, oh. So of course I text my hubby, I'm like, car is not working. What's going on here? So he calls me back, and he teaches me to do this little magical thing on my car, and my car turned on. So obviously I got home and sat in my car and asked myself, okay, so what's my message here? Because that's what I always do. So when things do
Mhm.
happen, the first thing I ask myself after I come out of the state of, like, maybe a little bit of worry, like, oh no, what's going to happen, or a little frustrated or stressed, be like, okay, I have someplace I need to be, and I can't do this on my phone, so I need to get home to my computer, get me home. Once I got past all of that, then it was like, okay, so what is going on that my car didn't start? So letting it go from not the car part, but in reference to, like, where do I feel blocked since I wasn't able to go anywhere for that short period of moment? My entire dashboard lit up. So, like, all the lights came on. So it's like, okay, what is it that I need to see that all the lights came on? So those are my little messages that I received today. And of course, later I'll sit and reflect on what all of that might have meant for me, and what the universe was trying to tell me. And when we think about cause, just generally speaking, when a car is in motion, based on feng shui, it's about your career's in motion. When a car won't start and it's not in motion, it's like, what's going on with your career? And that to me makes a lot of sense right now, because not that my career is not in motion, but as Kitty and I both know, my career is doing what I like to call a shuffle.
Mhm.
a shuffle. It's an all good shuffle, but it's like it's almost like someone's shaking me up, and it's gonna be like they're gonna throw me, and it's gonna be one of those things on, okay, so where am I gonna land? Am I gonna land in, let's say Arizona, or am I gonna land right here in front of me? Like, where am I gonna land? And it's a quite interesting uh, added comfort zone experience, because I'm very, very comfortable knowing like my next step. And
Mm-hmm.
although I do have steps that I'm taking, that I'm a part of, that I'm planning them out, and with this new moon's energy going to be helping me with, but I still don't quite know, because I'm like trying to figure out, can I see out of that microscope glass? Can I see out of it? But it's still quite a little foggy. Any insight on that, Miss Kitty?
Well, cars are our power, and the fact that everything lit up, in a dream they'll tell you it's your power. Everything lit up at once also said to me, there's a lot of choices coming. Just watch and see which. Yeah, it's an interesting time. I mean, I would recommend people before they go to bed at night. I learned this from a chakra class that I recently took. Just start with your day and review it backwards, just without a judgment. Just go through what you did, and see if there is, because we are in Scorpio. This is still waters run deep. This is the water of the swamp. People don't volunteer to say, yippee, I'm going to jump in the swamp. But that's the energy. It's the shadow energy. And so reviewing your day, seeing if something comes up, not to think about it, but see what kind of energy, just like your dashboard, what lights up for you? What are you going to pay attention to? But doing it backwards allows you to kind of look at where, realigns yourself to go to sleep, because in the morning you start again. So it's calling back all of that energy,
Yes, yeah.
just
And
like
it's
your
also,
reset button.
yeah, and it's also I would think it's a great way to reflect on the day as well. Not in reference to what was good, what was bad, but just going through the day and having gratitude for everything that went
Hmm.
on today.
Yeah,
You
it's
know,
it's not about judging it or wanting to make a different plan. It's just a review, kind of to reset. Um, and also helps with your dreams then, because then you're not solving things, you've gone through it.
yes, yes.
So,
And when we think of Scorpio season and all this energy that we have going on with Jupiter going back into Pisces, dreams are a big thing right now. So
mhm,
pen and notebook at the bedside. So this way here, when you wake up, no matter what time of night it is or early morning, whatever it is, whatever you have on your mind at the minute you wake up, whatever thoughts show up, write it down, because you never know what those thoughts are leading in for, what messages are coming in for. And really more important, even from my own experience, is recognize that some of your dreams you have coming through are messages for other people. So be open to sharing when you have a dream, share it out. I would even suggest for those who are working on wanting to be seen and heard, this is a really great time to get on to do Facebook Lives and share out your dreams, because you just never know. There might be a message that you might be able to share through a Facebook Live that somebody you never even come in contact with will actually receive that message and know what to do with it.
mhm.
Because you may not know what that dream is about, and it may not have anything to do with you. It just means that you were open at the time when that the angels were showing up, and they're like, this one's light, this one's open, let's give this one the message, and that one will get that message out to whomever it needs to go to, because that's what our angels and fairies believe, that they sort of tap on you and say, okay, you're the one that's going to deliver this message, and they believe you are, so you have a duty. I believe I have a duty, you know.
Well, and I think in this time where, um, disappointments are arising, things are showing up. It's a really good time to take a look at what are your dreams telling you, what, And the other thing is, what expectations and judgments do you have that have caused some of the disappointment? What did you think you wanted, and what it is that you have? So it's a very, very interesting time. I'd like to say it's low key, but there's nothing low key about it. If you can remain low key and be a little more objective, it's may help, but it's definitely an emotional cleansing, clearing. Yeah,
Yes,
very, very receptive, very feminine too.
yes, yes. It is definitely going to be a wild ride. Definitely a Scorpio deep dive,
Hmm.
evaluating, and seeing at the end of Scorpio season what you've learned about yourself. And message I'm hearing right now is, again, pen to paper. Keep a diary this Scorpio season, whether you want to call it a diary, a journal, whatever it is, but keep it. And you can start it as of today, because this is the first time you're hearing about it, and jot down just your experience, different things you're learning about yourself, certain things you realize you've already let go of, and take note of your energy as well. Take note if your energy is energetic, or if you're feeling tired, lazy, heavy. And when I use the word heavy, I don't mean like weight heavy, meaning like how you feel. Like the other day, I was saying to my husband, one of the things I've come to learn since working from home is that I have to consciously make the time to go take a walk outside. Now I have a bike in my house and I can get on the bike, but I need to do the actual physical walking. And there's a corner store by me. It's not literally right on my corner, but it's not that far neither. So what I do now is I take a walk to that corner store, and there's a little hill that goes up to get to that corner store. And the first few times that I've done it while walking, my legs were heavy. Now I work out 5 days a week. And I was like stunned by myself. I'm like, oh, my legs are heavy? Why are my legs feeling like lead? What's going on here? And I was saying it to my husband, and he says, well, I guess it's going to be something you're going to do as often as you can. And as you get more consistent with it, you may find that your legs won't be so heavy anymore when you're walking. But it was just such a like something I did not expect, because I've always been in the fitness industry, always been very active, and never experienced heavy legs while walking in my life. And like, what the
Right.
hell is this about? So again,
What do you
take
think it
note.
was about?
Well, I think a combination of things in reference to a lot of the energy that's moving through me. So a lot of it in reference to just carrying the heavy weight that I've been carrying for the last 21 years and trying to move it through. I think it could also have a lot to do with going from the workout, sitting a little bit, and then just getting up to go walk. And I haven't, when I was in my brick and mortar, the store was literally 4 doors down. So that's as much walking as I would do, 4 doors down. Whereas now it's like, okay, I'm going from my house, and it's not like a really long, far walk, but it's a little more walking than I'm used to doing. So I think it's just a matter that, even though, yes, as I said, I work out every day, but it's a different type of workout because it's literally
Hmm.
moving my legs. So I think it's just really about the heaviness that I've been carrying emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually,
Well,
and
and it's out there. That is the energy. So you're also encountering it and moving
yes,
it through.
yeah,
So,
yeah, and of course, I am very, I'll use the word judgmental to myself, because in my head, I'm like, my legs should not be feeling this. My legs should be strong enough to friggin' walk up a friggin' hill, and I should be okay. Not having all this internal dialogue going on saying, what the hell, what's going on here? I'm a fit person. Why are my legs feeling like lead?
mhm,
But,
yeah.
and I do just sit up to the fact that there's a lot of energy going on, collectively speaking, and planetarily speaking as well. So it's like, interesting enough, especially like my calves. I was like, wow, my calves are on fire. Like, what the hell is this about? I was like, I literally sat there and I'm like, okay, I cannot wait. Like it's basically just walking to the store. Once I get to the store and then I come back, coming back is fine. It's literally just walking to the store. I'm like, oh my God. I was like, I can't wait to get home and sit down. I'm like, well, that's the problem here is that maybe I'm sitting too damn much, you know? So, yeah.
Or it's telling you that that actual act of walking and seeing is equally as important to move through.
Oh,
So,
yes. Yes, yes, yes. And I do. I've been making a conscious effort every day to get outside and take that, 10-minute walk, which really should not be a 10-minute walk at all because it's literally down the block. A half, maybe in total, is probably a full city block. And that should not be a big thing. But because it is, it takes me 10 minutes because my
mhm.
legs get heavy. And I'm like, oh my God. And I tell myself, I say, okay, eventually this is going to get easier, and that 10-minute walk is going to become a 3-minute walk. And then, of course, I think of myself when I was little, that little kid who my father, out of my sisters and I, my father would ask me to go run down the block to get the milk because I would literally run down the block to get the milk, and I'd be back home in like 2 minutes with the milk so he could put it in his coffee. Now I think of myself now, I'm like, yeah, if he asked me to go run to get the milk now, he may not ask me because it takes me too damn long. On that note, Kitty, you want to read some cards?
Yeah, let me go grab mine. I think the only ones I have, though, I think I did bring the magic. Um, because, folks, I live in two different places. I have cards in two different places, so I just have to reach back because I'm going to try to stay around the 45-minute mark, just because I'm teaching a class right after this. So let
Yes,
me just
well,
grab
yeah,
mine.
we're gonna be hopping off shortly anyway.
Oops. Let me get there. Guess whose cards I got?
Oh, should we make $1 million bet here?
Uh,
Why do I
oh,
feel like mine?
so that'll be interesting because I don't usually read her cards with her, but that's what I've got. So
Well, it was just meant for you to read my cards with me. So it
yeah.
should be fun to see if we end up getting the same cards.
All right. Let's start with just what can get people through this week.
Yes.
Oh,
Oh, she got change. Uh-huh.
look at the number.
Yes. Yes. Does that surprise you?
No.
Considering you've been getting a whole lot of fives, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And you got the throat chakra too. So it is that communication, which is
Right.
interesting because Kitty got the actual throat chakra and I got the affirmation, communication. Look at
And
that.
this really is this particular with the square with Pluto and Mercury about changing our communication, how we see what we're receiving. So you've got you've got that crown chakra, and how are we going to share it? And you've got
Yes.
what's the number on that?
That's 12, which is 3, which is all about Mercury,
And 3 and 5 is 8. Scorpio.
which is Scorpio, yes. And the chakra here, the chakra is the high heart, which is really about having compassion for yourself right now. Being
Mm-hmm.
kind, this energy is not about judging yourself. This is really about being able to recognize what is showing up and allow it to show up and allow it just to gently flow through, not to judge it. So kindness and compassion is the words. Communication. What are you saying to yourself? What are you hearing others say? And take note of how you speak and also take note of how the other person is speaking too, in reference to their tone and their energy. Are they feeling heavy? Are they feeling light? Do they seem annoyed? Are they frustrated? Do you seem annoyed? Do you seem frustrated? And if you are, bring yourself back into a space of just peace and grace. Because there's no sense of being annoyed.
Right, and use the voice in a change. I'm going to say that differently. I'm going to, pause. I'm going to, or
Did you
for the other piece of that is, or if I'm a person that doesn't speak up, I'm going to speak up.
There you go. And did you see my flying card? It went
I saw something fly. What was it?
44 powerful.
Ah.
Solar plex energy. So this is really about trusting your power, your willpower, your desires, your unlimited possibilities with all that is coming in. And again, when we think of Scorpio energy, it is a time to let go of things. So recognizing how powerful you are so you can let go of things. There's nothing that you cannot let go of as long as you're willing to let go of it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we all have that power within us that if we want to let go of something, we can. Trust your intuition here. Trust your intuition. She's got flying cars too. And that 4-4 works out to be that 8 energy. So we're back at that 8 vibration of Scorpio season. The 4 is all about your foundation and that association with the moon because it's the 4th house. It's all about Cancer, which is the ruler of the moon. So this is all about finding the balance with your feminine energy, nurturing yourself, connecting with that inner child, connecting with your mothers, and recognizing how powerful you really are. So what cards went flying out for you, Kitty? Leader, and she's got 5s again.
Root chakra.
Yes, the root chakra and the double 5, which is that 10 Capricorn energy.
Mm-hmm. And that really is about, I think when we talk about the leader, we talk about where are we going, who, taking responsibility for yourself, but also who are you around? Who do you follow as a leader? Who, and of course, here we are, double 5s again.
Yeah.
That's a creativity house. That is the house of sun. Who are you? Are you your own? When my son was little, we used to talk about how are you the hero of your own stories.
Yeah. And 2, when Kitty speaks about leader and who you are being led by, who you're around, take note of who you are around. And if you sit back and say, well, that person's annoying, or that person's this, or that person's that, or that person doesn't inspire me, take note of that energy because again, you've attracted that energy. That energy is a mirror of you anyway. So take note of it and do the work that you need to do. If you're feeling as though someone annoys you, just look back at yourself and ask yourself, what about yourself do you get annoyed about?
Mm-hmm.
And just always bring it back to yourself. Be that leader to want to learn. Love this card. Fearless.
78.
78, which is that 6 energy of healing and nurturing. And
Mm-hmm.
that Virgo energy, being able to organize and be in your mind, body, and spirit. Be in your body. Be in your mind. Be in your body. Be it together. Bring it together. So it's not a disconnect. And our sacral energy.
And for me, 7 and 8 are always my mom because it was a kind of running joke in the morning. Kitty, what's 7 plus 8? And I would count, and she's like, and when I used to teach school, I would say 7 and 8, Mom, 15. And so to me, that's always that message.
Yes, exactly. So I love that. You want one more?
Sure, me too. And I just heard what's important.
Yes.
Oh my. I got 2 came out.
So we have 6 again.
Healing.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, that's that high heart again.
Yes, and then you have the 5 again.
And the 5 again. And 6 and 5 are
11.
Mm-hmm.
We don't make this
Freedom.
stuff up, do we?
No.
You're going to like this one. We got our 5 again.
Oh my.
Oh my, and surrender. Surrender. Let it go. Whatever it is that's causing you to feel heavy, whether it's the heavy legs, the heavy thoughts, whatever it is, let it go. Whatever it is, just let it go. No,
whatever's in the way of your healing and freedom, let it go.
exactly.
I
And
think
that's,
I think that's a great message to end in.
yes. And right with the heart chakra as well.
Yeah.
So lighten up your heart. Enjoy this Scorpio deep dive, the wild ride. Keep your journal. See what you learn about yourself, because after all, that's what this is really all about. Every person that comes into your path is a mirror of you, and they're only helping you learn lessons about yourself. So what you don't like about somebody, if that person's annoying you or that person just gets under your skin, ask yourself, what is it that's getting under your skin about yourself that you need to learn? Because that's why that person's there. Once you learn it, one or two things will happen. That person will go away, or you'll start to see something different. Bless you. You'll start to see something different from that person because you finally learned the lesson. They don't have to show that anymore. So
No,
enjoy that.
yeah,
Yes.
and I think that's, review that day and be thinking of all of those. What got in the way of my freedom? What got in the way of the healing? And just taking a look at it. I think we should come back on Sunday or Monday next week after this whole week is over.
Yes.
I think Monday is Halloween, isn't it?
Yes. Monday's Halloween. We can come on Monday if you want.
Okay, let's do that.
Yeah, we'll figure out a time when we're off the live.
'Cause
And just putting it out there for anyone who's interested, this Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern, I'm offering a free, what did I call it? New Moon Scorpio guided meditation. There's going to be setting intentions. There's going to be alignment. There's going to be um, moving into that point of seeing your desires move into a done deal. So anyone
Hey,
who's
and Jupiter is back in reviewing whatever this 12-year last cycle was for you in your imagination and your dreams. So
yes.
perfect. I'm going to write that down. What time?
It's at 1 p.m. Eastern. I sent you an invite, but from what I've been told from a lot of people, the invite that I sent out is an opening. So I will send you it through the actual link.
Okay, thank you.
So that's 1 p.m. Eastern, and it's for everybody, whether you are a astrologer teacher, such as Kitty, or you are somebody who's just getting started in this, or you're an astrology lover, whoever it's for everybody. Come learn, come be open, and come really allow yourselves to step into your new intentions, let go, and see what happens after that. So Kitty and I will be back, obviously, as we just said, on Halloween. We'll figure out a time and we'll have some more fun. Maybe we'll come in costume.
One never knows.
Just saying. All right, so we are going to head off. Kitty, let everybody know how they can reach you.
You can reach me at intuitionofthesoul11@gmail.com, or you can message me on Facebook, Kitty Budaweg Foss, or through Intuition of the Soul.
There you go.
So, all right. Thank you, Joanne. This was fun.
Thank you. And for those who need to reach me, emails on the bottom, healingwithin76@gmail.com. Bye-bye for now, guys.
Tabber says bye.
There we go.